Hello, people. Um, I keep looking at that picture from Jeremy Todd West, and I don't know. It kind of strikes me to my heart. Like, well, I sound silly, but it's got an interesting picture. There's a lot to be said about it. Like, if you look, of course, the most striking aspect by far are the teeth, and I'm gonna focus most of my speech on the teeth. Is His mouth wasn't always like that. If you look at the stain, I don't want to show too much about it because fucking BC, you know. But it wasn't always like that. I'm gonna mute the sound just in case they have some kind of. And that's the part where he stands up to give the decoy a hug, and he has a big problem standing up. You know, he's like, "Rrr," and she's like, "Stay here," you know, and she's like, "Stay here, stay here," like, "Don't come near me, you fucking freak, disgusting pedo." And the way she stands here, it looks like a scene from The Sim. Like it looks like Kayla, and I don't care what her name was with him. To me, she's Kayla, but it looks like Kayla was being controlled like an invisible hand, and he's like, you select Kayla, and you right click. It looks so fake. Look, I have a massage chair, but hurry up, Lauren is. Oh, look at this guy, like a massage chair. So far so good. And là, she right click like you select Kayla, you right click the share like sick on the arm. It's like, I was gonna give you a hug, and now Chris comes out. Like, oh no. He's like, oh, so well, I guess worst case scenario, I can always heat him. For some reason, Jeremy Todd West always struck me as a very pacific person, and I already talked about his reverse Armstrong cap, but somehow Jeremy, I don't think he would be able to use violence for some reason, and that's the most striking aspect with that photo because he changed so much. Of course, it's been 8 years, and he's been in jail for 8 years, 2 months now. That's a long ass time. Think about everything you did in the last 8 years. While during that time, that man was standing in jail not doing shit, and it's so unfair. He got such a big sentence. Like, he's fucking nuts. Fuck this guy. He's like, standing away like, don't. But fuck this guy. He's like, oh, no. Get arrested, then he gives a speech. I look at the taser and I can't help but think that it would not be a very efficient weapon against Jeremy Todd West. I think Jeremy would barely feel like the taser, like, ouch, I got like a shock. A taser and Jeremy Todd West, it's probably like the same as me when I get a status discharge, you just touch a metal, you're like, ouch. That's probably what Jeremy Todd West would feel. You don't try to hunt a whale with the 9 millimeters. I think you would need like 20 tasers in order for Jeremy Todd West to feel it. And I'm not making fun of him because he's fat. I'm making fun of him because he's a fat pedo. Look at this guy. Like, I wish the cop had said, like, sir, normally I would have you sit on the chair, but I'm a bit afraid that you're gonna break the chair, so could you sit on the ground, please? And try to do it slowly. I don't want you to, like, cause an earthquake or something. Fucking Jeremy Todd West. But anyway, I wanted to show his teeth. We don't actually see much of his. We see a little bit from the side, and he actually has normal teeth. Like, he looks pretty. Look at the teeth, very normal. He's a guy with normal dentition. But if you look at the pic here, the most striking aspect is, of course, the fact that his teeth are rotten, and that is pretty gross. In fact, I'll be honest. When I look at his teeth, the first thing I think about is meth. It looks like he had meth teeth. Like, this is not something that happens naturally. The second explanation that would explain teeth like that would be if he got attacked. If he got assaulted and he had a broken jaw or maybe broken teeth, he get punched in the mouth and a few of his teeth are broken. And now they fix it the way they can, but when you punch a teeth really hard, it's gonna move. So when you fix it, when you repair them, it ends up being something like that. But no, when I look at the color, they're not even like, some people have yellow teeth, but they're not yellow, they're dark brown, almost black. I mean, if you told me that picture was photoshopped, I would have believed it. Like, and those are his under teeth. Like, that's the most striking aspect. You don't see the top teeth. Like, normally if somebody opens his mouth, you're gonna see either the top teeth or both, but you just see the bottom teeth. So that led me to think that he received a punch here, broke several of his teeth, which sucks. I'm kind of sad for him because that must have hurt. But the way you only see that, it looks like someone on meth. Like, people that do drugs for a long time, they typically end up showing the bottom. Like, they have some kind of, I don't know, the lower lips kind of drops, and now you just see the bottom. Like, he's not even smiling. He's just how he is normally. That guy walks around like that, like, you know what I mean? Like, cokeheads, like people on drugs. Forget the meth, just drugs in general. When they take a lot of drug, I don't know why, the lower lips kind of drops. It's like, you know, you look like that, your lower lip. And that's what it strikes me as, you know. And the color of his teeth and the way they are. Like, this is surreal. Like, first of all, for bottom teeth, they're too, like, I really wonder, it couldn't be his top teeth, because the lips is too relaxed. The top lips is too relaxed. He's not, like, trying to show. So it's really his bottom teeth, but they're way too large. They're way too large, and they're way too straight. Like, you know, they're not, like, small indents, or they're not rounded. That's the part. He has really square teeth. And I'm even wondering if that's not some kind of denture. Like, honestly, those look like top teeth. Like, they're too large for bottom teeth. But there's no mistake. Like, if you look at the way he stands, like, if you relax your top lip, like, he's not lifting, like, his top lip to show his teeth. Like, he's not smiling at all, in fact. He's just normal looking. That's what is spooky. But he's not lifting his top lips to, like, smile and show his teeth. He's just normal. Like, he opens his mouth. That's how you look like. He just opens his mouth a little bit, and you show his bottom row of teeth, and you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, and you have the pointy, I don't know how you call them in English, but the pointy ones are kind of to the side, and I repeat, they're way too large, the teeth there, and there's a space. I'm getting to it. And again, the most striking aspect, the fact that they're dark brown, it screams rotten. Like, if you go to a dentist like that, they might actually have to pull all your teeth out and do a denture or something like that, or some bridge, because that to me screams rotten teeth. Like, I don't know how hygienic, like, dental care is in gel. I like to believe they at least let you, like, brush your teeth. Like, they must, like, it's really cruel not to be able to have a toothbrush, or even flossing. It's important. You should do it. You should floss. If you don't want to look like that when you're 35, you should floss. So I'm almost certain that prisoners have toothbrushes. Like, I'm almost like, it would be real cruel. It would be like a serious lack. Do prisoners have toothbrush? I just want to make sure. Like, I know they can make some skank. No, some shank. I always make that mistake. But building pinky size toothbrushes. At least they have toothbrush, you know. You may buy toothpaste, toothbrush. Yeah, you definitely have toothbrush in gel, because it would be real cruel to force you to not wash your mouth. So he has no excuse really for having rotten teeth like that. To me, that kind of dentition screams of meth. That's the kind of people on meth. Like, if you look at the kind of teeth that you get on meth, well, it's not very very similar, like meth mouth, you know. Meth mouth is a severe tooth decay and loss of teeth, as well as tooth fracture, all problem you don't want to have. I guess it's not really, I know it's not a pretty picture, but I'm really curious. It's not really at all like him. That's really gross, by the way. If I had a dentition like that, I would kill myself. This is what dentist nightmares are made of, you know. That's what meth looked like. I suppose his mouth, his tooths are not really like that yet, like, but they're really rotten. They're really, really rotten. I'm sorry, not a very pleasant mind. Like, that kind of rotten here. That's really gross. I'm really sorry about that. I might edit that out from my video. Dark teeth. Oh, smoking. Okay. Smoking. It might be actually just smoking, but, you know, that's what it looks like, you know, a little bit. And they say it's smoking that causes that. Why would people smoke? Like, this is a really poorly clean mouth. Just disgusting to watch. Many patients smoking cigarettes, coffee, tomatoes, red wine, sorry, damaged nerve, amalgam cavities. I guess that's what it is. Really disgusting. Like, it's okay if you have a bit of yellow teeth, but you have teeth like that. Like, that's exactly what kind of teeth he has. It could be just smoking, I guess, because they're definitely dark. But I think it's like some kind of drug or some stuff like that. I know in jail you can't smoke, but that's recent. Maybe he started smoking when he came in. To me, that screamed some kind of drug or some kind of bizarre stuff that he took in jail. The last aspect are the space between the teeth. That to me scream injury. Teeth are not normally spaced like that. It's not a normal dentition. It's not even something that can happen naturally. One explanation for it, the most common explanation you have is a broken jaw. If you break your jaw, like a punch, for example, and then they have to fix it with, they cannot make a cast, so they make an inside cast, and it causes teeth to be like that. The space is very consistent between the teeth. It really fits the way that maybe, he had some kind of thing inside his mouth, couldn't clean his mouth. That would be consistent with a broken jaw. And if you look at the alignment here, you have two axes and they don't really fit. Like if you follow the bone from the nose, that's morphology. But he's a bit turned to the left side. If he's not standing totally straight facing the camera. So imagine you rotate his head clockwise. You have the first axis, which is like this, and then like this. So the jaw is kind of out of alignment, It should be a little bit more to the left, a little bit more like turn counterclockwise. So the jaw kind of fixed itself a bit down, rotated to the right, rotated clockwise. So that would give credence to the fact that he has a broken jaw. And that's not something that is difficult. Like it happens pretty easily. To break your jaw, you would be surprised, especially in jail. I was watching actually a documentary on boxers. Like, boxers, they take like some pretty strong punches, but it's actually extremely easy to have a broken jaw as a boxer. One punch, one punch and your jaw's broken. And you don't really have any protection for your jaw. You don't have muscles. Like if you punch like the chest, you can build some muscle to absorb the hits. The two places where you really cannot build any muscle to protect yourself is the liver. You can a little bit like resistant, but it's just painful, so you have to resist. And the jaw. The jaw is just really exposed, and if you have a good punch on the jaw, you're gonna break it. And that's why in boxing, they really like. I'm telling you, even if he's a boxer, one good punch to the jaw, correct, and it's broken. And there's really nothing. Like for the teeth, you have a mouth guard, so you can kind of protect your teeth. For the jaw, you have no protection. So, in my opinion, my guess, the explication for everything that would explain everything, like the discoloration, the spacing, the way his teeth are not standing. Like they're very square, but they're not well positioned and straight. They look like kind of out of place. That to me screams broken jaw. Like I think he had a strong punch based on the angle of his lower jaw. I think he was hit from a right punch. Like if you punch something with a right hook, like here, the jaw is gonna be pushed that way, he's gonna push to his right, and it just never healed properly. So based on that, it seems kind of obvious that Todd West had his jaw broken in jail, an inmate in a fight. I don't know, he was punched, and like it's very clear. Even if you look at the way he shaved himself, the shaving is kind of not aligned. It's kind of like straight line, but it doesn't like align with his head. So it kind of sucked that he was attacked in jail. I'm going to write to him because I want to be sure, but I am actually sure that he has his jaw broken. And he probably had, a couple of teeth moved during the punch. That sucks. I mean, I'm not going to make fun of a guy getting attacked in jail, even if he's a pedophile. I don't know. I don't like violence, even on pedo. I don't like the violence that pedo want to make, but I don't like the violence, any form of violence. So that's why I'm not rejoicing that he had his jaw broken. One thing, however, he doesn't have any scars on his face. Normally, if there was a fight, I would expect him to get a couple hits, not just one. Again, you can break a jaw with one punch, but he has no scars at all. Maybe he received just one punch, but actually, breaking your jaw doesn't really leave any scars because it's the bone inside. But he looks okay aside from his jaw. That sucks, man. I feel for you. I feel for you. And yeah, no scars at all. Might have some skeletic problem because the way he's standing, a bit like unbalanced. Maybe his neck got slightly strained in the attack. But no scars. He wasn't attacked with a knife or anything like that. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say pretty much. The broken jaw would explain the discoloration too, because obviously when you break your jaw, there's blood, there's all that, and then you have an inside cast to fix your jaw so it won't move, because that's how bone heal. When you don't move, you immobilize it, but you reposition the bone, and then you wait, and it fixes itself magically. But during that time, he couldn't brush his teeth, and if he was smoking, if anything, then obviously the stuff's gonna stay there, and the teeth are gonna be brown. But it's a gross picture. It's disgusting. I feel pity for you, man. Must have hurt like hell to break a bone. Like, I've never broken any of my bone. I can imagine how much it hurt. I sprained the bone and it really hurt a lot. So broken must be terrifying. Sorry about that, man. I hope the guy got prosecuted for assault. Like, if I was in jail and if Todd West was my inmate and he was attacked like that, I would do an investigation and I would sentence the guy for 10 years in jail. The guy who broke your jaw, 10 additional years in jail. Don't give a fuck. Like, it's enough, okay? Enough about abusing and violence in jail. There's law, even though he's a pedo. It's not a reason to attack him, especially with a violent attack like that. So I would make a full investigation. I would go to the police. I would call, well, he's in jail. But I would go and, do a full investigation with cameras. You have to, you have to be able to find out who did that. And you prosecute him. But it sucks in jail. Nobody gives a shit. The prosecutor doesn't give a shit. And the guy who did that probably got away with it. It really sucked. Last comment on his hair. It's kind of weird. He's kind of combed his hair here, but not here. He's balding like Lorne. Sucks. Sucks, man. The best years of your life and they're gone. He could have at least come here. Like, he has a very weird hair, the hairdressing. Very pitiful picture overall. Unkempt, man. There's not much of him left. I feel that when he's going to be left out of jail, he's going to be like a ghoul. Like, his soul, if you look at the look he has a lazy eye, of course. Again, maybe a punch that he received. That one, he actually has this one when he get arrested by Dateline. So maybe a punch as a kid. Maybe some kind of illness. Maybe because he's fat, he has high blood pressure and all that. But he has an empty gaze. I look at him, I see nothing. I see his soul is gone. And it would be gone. After 8 years in jail as a child predator, I understand that he's gone. And it's pitiful to watch. I'm going to say something I'm going to regret, but you deserve better than that, Jeremy. Like, I read your chat log. You're a pedo, but it's still like, you're the kind of guy that, in my opinion, with proper therapy, you would have never done that kind of stuff, and you would have had a normal life. You could have found a wife. You could have had, maybe not the roof, but you could have had a normal life. And that's what pisses me off. And look at what's gone of you. This is just pitiful to watch. I'm going to stop now. You're gone. It's the end. It's the end of Jeremy Todd West. In that picture, he has the same, as I said, the jaw is kind of rotated a little bit to the, if you have, let's say you have the center of the circle here, the jaw is here, and it was like rotated clockwise a little bit. So at this point, he probably already had his jaw broken. That was in 2011. So it probably happened very early after his incarceration. I'm sorry, man. I feel for you. I feel bad now. As I said, I already, like, if he had a therapist and he had worked his problems, never would have tried to rape a kid. And he could have lost weight. He could have gotten his life back on track. Now it's never going to happen. Now he's gone. You're not a hardcore pedo. You're not a Lorne. That's why it made me sad. And even Lorne deserved to get his ass beaten much more than you, and he didn't. Anyway, I'm going to write to you. I'm going to try to find your address. I want to know more about you. I'm curious. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good night.